Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Okay, let's be real for a second. If you've ever felt that absolute pit in your stomach right before pushing code to a live environment, you are exactly where you need to be today. Because in this explainer, we're taking the terrifying prospect of an Ethereum mainnet deployment and turning it into a calm, totally controlled rocket launch. The stakes here? They're just vastly different than traditional software. In Web 2, a critical bug usually just means pushing a hot fix 10 minutes later, no big deal. But an Ethereum smart contract bug, that can mean millions of dollars permanently locked, drained, or just gone in an instant. There is literally no undo button. So today, we're going to build the ultimate safety net to prevent exactly that.
We're going to contrast the panic-inducing, incredibly sweaty YOLO deploy at 2 a.m. with a highly professional, documented runbook deploy. You know, the kind that actually lets you sleep at night. See, the YOLO deploy relies heavily on hope, massive amounts of caffeine, and crossed fingers. And well, caffeine and hope do not constitute a sustainable security model when real value is on the line. A runbook deploy, on the other hand, relies on hard data, reproducible checks, and a very deliberate human sign-off. By the end of this explainer, you'll see exactly how to transition your team away from the chaos and bring some absolute engineering rigor to your final steps.
Here is our mission control agenda for today. First, the go, no-go decision. Then, automating the first checks. Third, the 7-step countdown. Fourth, the audit trail. And finally, rehearsing for mainnet.
Let's dive right into section 1, the go/no-go decision.
So, what actually stands between your local code and the permanent, unchangeable stakes of the mainnet? The absolutely crucial concept here is the pre-deployment runbook. Think of it like a literal rocket launch checklist. It's the ultimate safety net that consolidates all your prior testing, your security tooling, and your docs into one repeatable process. It is a strictly sequential checklist that turns your test artifacts and security signals into a completely unarguable go or no-go decision. It totally takes the subjective guesswork, you know, the whole, yeah, I think it's ready vibe, out of the equation entirely. You either have the data to prove it's safe to launch or you don't. Simple as that.
Moving right along to section 2. Automating the first checks. Before the flight director even thinks about signing off on a launch, we have to run automated machine diagnostics. In our workflow, this is handled by a slick little Node.js script, typically called predeploy-checks.js. This script takes the heavy burden off of us humans by running 4 crucial phases automatically. First, it compiles the contracts with Hardhat to ensure there is 0 syntax errors. Second, it runs your entire suite of Foundry tests. Third, it generates a coverage report. And fourth, it estimates deployment gas. That last step? It's exactly like checking our rocket's fuel budget. It's so critical because deploying a massive, complex smart contract can literally fail mid-transaction if you haven't estimated the exact gas limits the network requires. By shoving all 4 of these steps into a fast-failing script, we guarantee that human reviewers only ever look at code that's passed rigorous mechanical validation.
Let's zoom in on that coverage check for a second. During that phase, the automated script is looking for something specific, a coverage artifact. This is usually a JSON report generated straight from your testing pipeline. It's essentially the receipt that proves to reviewers that your smart contract tests actually did their job. It says, yes, we didn't just write a few tests to check a box, we wrote tests that comprehensively cover the critical execution paths. Without this artifact, you're just flying blind, hoping that tests caught the edge cases without any real mathematical proof that they did.
Now, if all these automated checks pass smoothly, meaning there are absolutely no mechanical microfractures in our code, the script spits out the magic number, exit code 0. This is the definitive signal that the code is structurally sound and human review can safely begin. But if it spits out literally anything else, the script exits, the entire process stops dead in its tracks, and the team heads back to the drawing board to fix those microfractures. We do not want humans wasting even 1 minute reviewing a broken build.
All right, we are now entering the heart of the sequence. Section 3, the 7-step countdown.
But wait, before we start taking off the core steps of our countdown, we have to establish the build identity. This is the single foundational piece of data that everything else in the runbook is going to reference. We're talking about your exact commit SHA, the CI job name, and the specific artifact path. Why is this such a big deal? Well, if you don't anchor your deployment to a specific cryptographic hash of your code, you might accidentally deploy an older broken version that just happened to be sitting in a different directory. The build identity is your unshakable anchor. If you don't know exactly which version of the code you're deploying, down to the specific byte, the rest of the checklist is totally useless.
Okay, with the anchor set, here is your master checklist. Let's walk through how this systematically eliminates risk. It flows logically, making sure nothing slips through the cracks. Step 1. Establishing that build identity we just talked about. Step 2. Running those automated Node.js checks. Once the machines give us the green light, we hit Step 3. Static analysis. This is where we use specialized tools to hunt for known security vulnerabilities. Step 4 is the gas review. We need absolute certainty that our deployment won't hit network limits. Step 5 checks our audits and documentation. Did the external auditors actually sign off on this exact commit? Step 6 verifies our observability readiness. Are our monitoring dashboards and alerts properly configured? We can't fly blind once we're live. And finally, Step 7 brings us to human sign-off. Notice how every single step here has a prescribed action, clear accept/reject criteria, and a designated responsible role. Zero ambiguity.
Now, I really want to emphasize the core philosophy of a good runbook. The human sign-off finalizes the process, absolutely, but it is never a blind click-through. The automated checks do the heavy lifting, sure, but that final step requires ultimate human accountability. The release lead isn't just mindlessly clicking an approve button to unblock a pipeline. They are the flight director giving the final responsible go for launch. They are literally staking their professional reputation on the fact that every preceding step was executed flawlessly.
But hey, what happens if something actually goes wrong? If a check fails during that countdown, you don't panic, and you definitely don't try to hotfix it on the fly. No way. You follow the divergence policy. You simply open a tracked issue, tag it with predeploy failure, and link the failing CI logs. Most importantly, you require a post-mortem. Actually, scratch the idea that a failure is a disaster. In a high-stakes environment, a caught failure is a massive success. It means the system worked exactly as designed. It protected the mainnet, and the post-mortem guarantees the team gets smarter every single time a launch gets aborted.
Let's look at what happens after the dust settles. Section 4, the audit trail.
Once your contracts are deployed, we immediately transition into making sure our forensic detective work is going to be incredibly fast and reliable. Your runbook must create a perfect timeline of linkage. It needs to traceably connect a specific version control commit directly to a CI artifact and ultimately straight to the deployed bytecode on the blockchain. Think about it. If something acts weird on the mainnet 3 months or even a year from now, this exact linkage is what allows your incident response team to trace the bug all the way back to the precise line of code, the developer who wrote it, and the test that missed it.
And to keep auditors, security researchers, and your future incident responders happy, you have to co-locate specific audit-ready documents directly with your deployable artifacts in your repo. We're talking about the ABI, the exact constructor arguments used, a verified source reference, outputs from static analysis tools like Slither, and a clear audit summary. Please do not hide these vital docs in some random Google Doc or a forgotten Slack thread. They need to live right there alongside the code, instantly accessible the second an emergency strikes.
Mastering these strict accountability ledgers and avoiding permanent, costly mistakes, that's exactly what separates the amateurs from the true professionals in Web3. Building this kind of operational muscle memory is a core focus in our Forge College learning programs. Because having a solid technical foundation and writing smart contracts is great, but pairing that raw coding ability with bulletproof, enterprise-grade workflows, that's what makes a dev team truly world-class.
Almost at the finish line. Section 5, rehearsing for mainnet.
You don't just write an elegant runbook document and hope it works on the big day, right? No, you literally run the entire runbook against a testnet fork. A testnet fork is basically a safe, simulated sandbox that perfectly mimics the live blockchain state at a specific block. In this sandbox, you execute the deploy script, confirm the deployment receipts, and validate that your watcher logs light up exactly how they're supposed to. You're making absolutely sure the complex handoff between the automated gates and the human sign-offs works perfectly, with zero friction in a totally safe environment.
If you want to explore more about deploying smart contracts safely, establishing solid security postures, and really diving deep into Web3 topics, I strongly encourage you to check out forge.college. There is a massive wealth of resources there specifically designed to take the stress and the risk out of your entire decentralized development lifecycle.
So we've covered how to completely replace that 2 a.m. panic with absolute methodical precision. The machines have run their diagnostics, the coverage is mathematically verified, and the safety net is completely secured in place. The only variable left in this entire process is human accountability. So, are you ready to be the flight director? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy and safe deploying.